Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys, owned by our fans, one of the very few teams in the Football League, truly a part of its community. Today we are taking on Dag and Red again in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy. I don't know how to say Anyway, Ball, John Green, and another John Green are starting up front, teammates in life and in love. They're married to each other, and they're married to this club. In the back, all the way in the back, in goal, we have Seb Brown. Seb Brown, who, Meredith, I don't know if you know this, but he's actually a really good goalkeeper. He saved 2 penalties against Luton Town to send us into the Football League, and if it weren't for him, did you know this? AFC Wimbledon wouldn't even be a part of FIFA 14. It's true, Seb Brown. He also saved 2 penalties against Manchester City to win us the FA Cup. But and then who else we got today? We got the White House out on the left, Callum Kennedy and his hideous hair playing right back. Lizzie Bennett, the only female player on the Wimbly Womblys, playing center back. And then our midfield, yeah, I took Yabamba out today. He's tired, and I know that you guys are sad because I know that there's nothing you love more than hearing me sing that song. But I just felt that it was right to rest him. He's been playing a lot of football, and I think he's like 52 years old. But we do have the golden child, 5 feet 4 inches tall, either 16 or 17 years old, truly made of awesome. Oh, by the way, in case I have not mentioned this, in a stunning turn of events, it is raining in England. So today I'm going to talk about the, well, we're going to try to win the game, obviously, because then we would get to go to the finals of this completely meaningless trophy. But whatever, then we would get a trophy, and trophies are cool. I'm going to talk about the 5 books I would take with me on a desert island if I had to do that. I've always thought that this was a bit of an unrealistic thing because even the most... I actually read a biography written by a guy who lived 17 years alone on a deserted island. It's a really good book. It's called An Island to Oneself. I heartily recommend it. And you've got to really go to extreme lengths to end up on a desert island. It's not something that happens to you by accident. I mean, unless you're in a Lost-like paranormal situation, it's just not realistic. Just not. Oh, speaking of not realistic, Ball, John Green scoring from there. So, you know, it's a little bit of a silly game. And the truth is, if I could only bring 5 books to a desert island, I would probably bring, 5 large ones that I could burn for kindling. I'm no dummy. I want to stay alive and get home to my family. I don't care if I'm entertained or not. Or I'd take a guide to like how to break a coconut open. I'm very, as you guys know, or many of you know, I'm very anxious when it comes to, dying in some kind of horrific way. Desert island related sounds very unpleasant to me. Lots of dehydration possibilities. There's just a number of... Ball, John Green. Ball, John Green. Ball, John Green. He's the strongest man. Oh, not as strong as Dag and Red. Is that a made-up town, by the way? Dagenham? Seems fictional. So, first off, I need to know how long I'm going to be on this desert island. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Seb Brown, look at him gather the ball like the beautiful man that he is. There's a lot of unanswered questions in this. This whole underlying idea that kind of bugged me. Like, I mean, am I likely to be found in 10 days or 30 years? If we're going to assume, let's just assume that it's 30 years. Somehow I'm able to choose my 5 books, but not choose whether to get rescued. You could already see why this is just kind of a silly construction in the first place. Dag and Red, by the way, putting up quite the fight so far. The Wimbly Womblys, not even with a shot on goal, although K. St. Louis, the patron saint of lost crosses, just made a fantastic unnecessary slide tackle. So, number one, I think you've got to go for complexity and length. You've got to go for some stuff that will feed you for a while. If it's going to be potentially 30 years, these are the only books you're going to read. So, obviously, it's an obvious place to start, but I think you got to start there. Collected Works of William Shakespeare. It's a big book, It's going to keep you busy. It's got Hamlet and Macbeth and Lear and also some of the terrible ones. I'm just kidding Shakespeare, but seriously. Troilus and Cressida, I mean, let's have a talk. Ball, John Green, to his husband, oh God, they love each other, but sometimes they don't communicate. The golden child! The golden child! Oh no, it's Kaz! I'm sorry, I have so many midfielders under 5'4", it's difficult to keep track of which of my tiny midfielders has scored. But it's Kaz Veropoulos. We don't have a song for him. Oh, he scores with his left. He scores with his right. Oh, Kaz Veropoulos, you make some more look shite. When we don't know what to do, we always make fun of some more. He used to play for us, but then he insisted on being transferred, and ever since we have sung his name in derision. Nobody leaves the Wimbly Womblys on anything but the best possible terms, or you will forever be in the annals of our history as a hated enemy. Ooh, God, ball John Green with an excellent first touch. Oh, my God. Is he Lionel Messi? No, because that cross indicated otherwise. Collected works of Shakespeare. Where was I? Then I'm going to take now, see, I feel like I can't take Ulysses, but the great James Joyce book, which would provide endless entertainment. But I feel like I can't take Ulysses unless I'm also going to take, like, the annotated companion to Ulysses. And then I've spent 40% of my books on Ulysses, and that seems like a mistake. So I'm not going to take Ulysses. I'm going to take as my second book, a much shorter book, but one that has meant a lot to me personally over the years, and that stands up very well to rereading for me. And that, oh, God, Seb Brown had it, don't worry. And that book is Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, my favorite Toni Morrison book. One of the first books that I ever loved with a capital L, that ever made me feel like transformed and excited and scared and all of the things, like all of the deep, real, way down emotions in the darkness, which is you, that literature can make you feel. And speaking of way down deep in the darkness, which is you, I would also take Robert Penn Warren's All the King's Men. I'm not going to take a Faulkner novel, and I feel bad about that as a Southerner, but I am going to take All the King's Men, a good novel about politics in the South. It's also got a lot of nice turns of phrases, and it's got that great bit about how west is where you go when you look down and you see the blood on the knife, and the knife is in your hand. And it's got that nice bit about way down deep in the darkness, which is you. There's just a lot to recommend it if you're on a desert island. I feel like you need, oh, Paul John Green was there. I feel like you need, you're gonna need in the gathering darkness a comfort, you know. And I think that would be a good one. Oh, what a stop by other John Green. Other John Green. Oh, the Ginger Messi. No. Get it. Oh. Devastating. Devastating. I mean, if that's not, what an opportunity that was for him. You've got to say he's had a difficult season. He's been very much in his husband's shadow, admittedly a much larger man, makes sense, but like he's just been in his husband's shadow the whole season. Speaking of which, Ball John Green just almost got a beautiful goal. But life is hard and full of disappointment, and sometimes, in fact, often, effort comes to nothing. That's the great lesson of football, my friends. Oh, sometimes you work and you work and you work and you don't score. Yeah, in basketball, they score 72 times a game. It's just not the same. You don't understand how painful it is, how long you must wait, how you must suffer. Oh, Case St. Luce! Case St. He's taken down to the box. How is that not a penalty, referee? Terrible, terrible refereeing. Where was I? Have I taken All the King's Men yet, Meredith? Okay, so I'm down to 2 books. All right, I'm gonna go a little outside the box on a couple of these. Again, I think I'm gonna need comfort from sadness. Okay, I think like my primary emotion would be one of loneliness and sadness. So I'm gonna choose a weird book for my 4th book. And I apologize in advance for its weirdness. It's The Blood of the Lamb by a writer named Peter DeVries. Great, the great American cancer novel, but also like the great American novel of randomness and arbitrariness. I mean, I think, you know, I've said before that I feel like the reason that we have this weird relationship with cancer in America is because of, it's like the tuberculosis of our time. It strikes young people and old. Sometimes you live, sometimes you don't. And it embodies how arbitrary and unfair human existence is and how unpredictable it is. And Peter DeVries' novel, The Blood of the Lamb, examines that with such compassion and hilarity and darkness and light. It's perfect. And it's got some laughs in it, and I feel like I will need, you know, I'm going to need the occasional laugh. My last book is going to be even more shocking. Because it's a very recent book, but I just think I want a hilariously funny book. And the funniest book I have read in the last 10 years is Maria Semple's Where'd You Go, Bernadette? It is oh God, I can't believe we're not winning this game by more goals. It's kind of embarrassing. It's unbelievably funny. Bob John Green. He gives it all for the team. Upon his mustache we're keen. Ball John Green. Look at that finish from 20 yards out. Cool as the other side of the pillow. some would argue the greatest John Green of all. Some would argue that without his husband John Green, née Bennett, he wouldn't be the player that he is today. And indeed, like, that was a nice setup by both John Greens. They're just the greatest strike partnership that in the history of this club. Oh God, Seb Brown, not your best work, buddy. Are they asking for a penalty? No, that's unreasonable. Oh, look, Meredith. The Edward Cullen is playing. That's exciting. Remember, he scored a goal on us last time. It was distressing. But now we're up 2-0, and now we're just having fun. So yeah, I think Where'd You Go, Bernadette is just like, it's the perfect desert island novel. It's like it's a great book that's also a great beach read. And you know, ultimately, when you're on a desert island, you are on a beach. And I just like, I think it's such a deeply funny book. Like, it keeps being funny. I reread it recently, and it was funny again. It was as funny as it had been the first time. Like, she has this amazing rant about, why do I keep seeing Idaho license plates? Who lives in Idaho? And then she realizes that she lives in a state that borders Idaho. It's just golden. If you haven't read that book, you really should. So I think those are my 5 desert island books. I apologize for halfway cheating. I mean, let's face it. You could get through life only reading Shakespeare, and you'd be just fine. Although he'd probably have a funny way of talking. But yeah, I know that's a little bit cheaty of me. I was not offside. Is there no such thing as justice? This game also captures the absolute arbitrary unfairness of life. The sport is supposed to be about, you know, the one place where we can have a level playing field, where we can have fairness, and then a referee goes and makes an offside call like that, and it all falls apart. Oh, I've never been so sad about a 2-0 victory. Oh, God, is it going to be 2-0? Panic! That was nice. No, Schmergeberg. Don't worry. Girls just want to have Fundingsrud and Lizzie Bennett at the back, making sure it all works out okay in the end. And I think the game has come to an end, and we're moving on to the John Stones Paint Trophy Final. That's right, friends. We might win a trophy that prior to this season we had never heard of. Thank you for watching. Best wishes.